Okay, welcome back to the LCP Tech Tips. Now that we've gone over some great tools within our screen time, the last one I want to talk to you about is some of the great settings within content and restrictions. This is going to make sure that some of the things that you might not be comfortable with on being available on your child's iPad, so you can control which of those things are on and which of those things are off. So let's jump right in. Okay, just like in the last videos, we're going to start in our settings. On the left-hand side, go into screen time. And the last one we're going to talk about is this content and privacy restrictions. Again, it's going to ask for that password you set up. And here we are in content and privacy restrictions. So the first one you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to walk you through many of these settings so that you're aware of what they do and how to change them. The first one let's look at is iTunes and App Store purchases. This is really important because if you have a credit card or an Apple ID attached to this iPad, you may or may not feel comfortable allowing your child to download things. So you can change whether they can install their own apps, they can delete their own apps, and then to me, the most important one is this in-app purchases. Many apps are free to use whenever you download them, but then will require a child to download some extra content that costs money. That can add up really quickly, so you may want to look at this and not allow, and maybe if they want a specific thing, then you can okay that later on. And then they require the password right here. Okay, the next one is this allowed apps right here. There are specific apps that you can turn on and off that are built into the iPad. For example, if you don't want your child to have access to the iTunes store, you can actually turn that off. So you can decide which of these apps are appropriate for your child. Next one we're going to look at is this content restrictions. This allows you to decide which of these you want to change. So for example, music and podcasts. You can decide if you're going to allow them to have explicit or only download things that have been designated as clean. Also in TV shows, you can decide what level of TV show a child can download. Same in books. And also in apps, you can decide maybe only 4 up, 9 up, 12 up, or 17 up. So you can decide the type of apps that a child can download. The next one we're going to look at is web content. Unrestricted access, limited adult websites, or allowed websites only. So if you have a young child, you may decide which websites you allow them to work, and you can actually add specific websites. So maybe you only want your child to only have access to certain websites on their personal iPad at home, or you can just give them unrestricted access if you trust them to use safe websites. Okay, the next one is the Siri settings. So web search content. When you're using Siri, do you want Siri to be able to Google things and send them to websites? And then explicit language. Do you want to allow Siri to have explicit language or not allow? And then within the Game Center, do you want them to be able to use multiplayer games, add friends in the Game Center, and then do you want them to be able to screen record, which is what I'm doing right now to show you this iPad. So if you're not comfortable with some of those things, again, go in there and allow or not allow. Okay, I'm going to go back. The next one we can look at is location services. Okay, this is something that tracks your child's location. For example, Google Maps uses this to give you important information about where you are. If you're not comfortable with that, you can turn off location services. Can they have access to the contacts from their Gmail, Google Calendar, any of the apps that they've downloaded if they have access to their contacts? Calendars. Again, which calendars are you allowing or not? And as you work down this list, you'll see all of these that you can work into. Okay, so another settings you might want to look at are some of these settings down here at the bottom. Is your child allowed to change the passcode that gets into the iPad? Can they make changes to the account within this iPad? Can they make changes to cellular data? If you have an iPad with cellular data, you might want to turn that off. Can they change the volume, the do not disturb, TV providers, and background app activities? So all these settings that you can change as an adult in your normal settings, you can change those and lock this to where the student or child has no access to change those on the iPad. So I hope some of these restrictions are going to make you feel a little more comfortable with the control you have with some of the iPads and iPhones that are in your home.